Hello and welcome to another episode of Somebody Named Ken, the show where I talk to anybody because everybody is somebody to God and to me, and it's always some cool people that I want you to meet. Now, I don't do bios. I don't read bios like, you give me something to say and I was like, this is so-and-so. I don't do that, right? Instead, we do a segment called
So just let me introduce myself.
So, ladies, please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Isis Fleming.
Kayla and Isis Fleming. Now, tell me how old you guys are.
15.
Also 15.
All right, 15, and you go to what school?
Hobart High School.
Hobart High School.
Hobart High School.
And you are what year? Like, is that
Ninth grade.
Ninth?
Yes.
Freshman.
Oh wow. I don't know why I thought you were like in sophomores. I was just about to say sophomores. But anyway, so man, I'm so excited to have you on the show. This is one episode where we are actually talking to young entrepreneurs or aspiring young entrepreneurs, because I really, really believe that young people should be starting businesses. But before we get into that, man, like, I just want to know something about you. So what are your favorite colors?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Purple.
Now, why yellow?
I don't know. I like yellow because it's bright, and I feel like I'm a bright person most of the time.
Okay.
I agree.
And purple.
Yes. Purple is just a cold color, and then it's a mixture of blue and red, which is my parents' favorite colors.
Oh, that's just like real deep. It's just a real deep answer. Now, would you be mad if I told you that my least favorite color is purple?
No, because I respect your opinion.
That is so great. I wouldn't have said that. I'd have been like, what you mean? No, I was kidding. Like, what's the coolest part about being, you say you 15, both of you 15? What's the coolest part about being 15?
Well, when it comes to the business aspect and starting a business at 15 is a lot easier because people want to give you things when you're a kid. so being 15 does open up more opportunities.
I'm 15 too, by the way. So if you got, any opportunities and money you want to throw my way, I'll take it. What about you? What's the coolest thing about being 15?
About being 15, it's probably like the social aspect of getting to know everyone who's your age and understanding other people from others' perspectives.
Let's talk about this. And I'm glad you said that. Like, I love, like, you guys are like what they call Generation Z, right? I love you guys because, like, you remind me of Generation X, which is my generation. And I just feel like you guys, you got so much to offer, and you view the world in such a different way. So, I mean, y'all on social media, you see the drama. Dude, tell me about just, like, the beauty of being in Generation Z and how you guys look at the world. When you look out at the world, like, what do you see? How do you feel about it?
So I think with Generation Z, there's a lot of growth because I feel like we're one part of the newer generation where a lot of issues pop up, such as global warming. So it's a lot of having to learn how to problem solve and be innovative and do things with technology, because that's such a big part of Generation Z and just like all that growth. And I feel like that's a big thing of what our generation is, growing and breaking barriers and being accepting. Our generation is also very accepting.
Yeah, I also feel like all the cultural differences of the past, like understanding those and getting over them as we continue our generation, is a big part of our generation as a whole.
My whole thing is all of the generations working together, because I believe that all of the generations have something to bring to the table. And if we would all just bring it together and stop kind of like whatever this silly reason we're always fighting. Now, some of it is just being young, because I remember being young and talking bad about the generation before me, whatever. They just don't get it, or they so traditional, so old. But as I got older, I was like, wait a minute. There's a lot of wisdom in that older generation. At the time, our generation had all the energy. It's not like that anymore. You guys got all the energy, right? And man, what would that look like so like for now, like my generation, I feel like we're the ones standing between the generations saying like, no, let's just all come together. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand that. You guys said something about being accepting. I think that's like the dopest part of your generation. It's like a lot of things that adults have hangups about. Like, it doesn't even bother you guys. Is that correct? Incorrect? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I feel like off of that, and when there's problems within the world, just adults, children, etc., we're trying to work together to solve those problems. But as far as social trends, like okay boomer, like those types of things that are like separating different generations, I feel like that could be improved with our generation eventually, and also working together off of that would be the ultimate piece of acceptance.
I think with accepting is like there's a lot of different things that have popped up in our generation and how people recognize themselves as. And I feel like that if you judge people, it's harder to get to know people and get to be close to others. So I feel like our generation doesn't have a problem with accepting people for who they are and every aspect of who they are. And I think that's one of the biggest parts of it.
So, do you believe that your generation, like your leaders now, because us grown folks, we always say, well, we like to say the next generation of leaders or whatever. I always say they're not next, they're now, right? Do you feel that way? Like you guys are leaders right now. Do you feel like your voices are heard? Do you feel like you're able to speak to issues and people take it seriously?
Some most adults do take things as such seriously, at least from my perspective in real life, like talking to them. But there's always going to be people through social media who don't feel the same way as you, and it's okay to have different opinions as such. Um, and that's basically what I have to say off of that.
I definitely think our generation is leaders now. I think we all have our different you know, like what makes us special. But I think there are challenges when people hear you out, just being someone who's older than you. They may not hear things out your way because they see the world differently because they are older than you and you are younger. So you might have two different perspectives. But I think being able to hear each other out is something we could grow on.
Man, that's so cool. And so, kind of one of the reasons why I invited you here is because, I got to see you guys compete for something. I'm not going to tell everybody what it is. I'm going to let you do that. But I got to see you guys compete. And it's so powerful because you guys chose something that you saw as a real issue, like that's affecting our world, our communities in our world. And you decided to create a business that addressed it. So tell us a little bit about what you won, and then tell us a little bit about what won it for you, that being your business.
So we won a competition called Innovate Within for the regional competition at least, so we can move on to state. We started this competition at our school throughout our engineering class. The competition offered us $2,000, so $1,000 apiece, and a trip to Florida for 3 days where we get to learn from other engineers for free. So those were big things, and just the publicity too, just getting our business out there.
Yeah, I feel like we've worked a lot on this project, and we feel like Innovate Within was just another stepping stone on our way to being successful entrepreneurs.
So I know the guy that runs Innovate Within, and so he's gonna have to pay me for this free advertising. But talk to me about the experience with Innovate Within. Like, what was that process? How did you guys get involved? What all did you have to do? And then how did that get you to the pitch competition?
We've connected with many people off of there. The business aspect of it is you get your groundwork for what you wanted to do. You identify a problem and you list ways that you could solve it. And once you have that concrete foundation, then you start making connections with an ISDBDC counselor. Ours was Judith. And those types of people who are willing to help you and who are there to help you is really like one of the main processes within that. And then once you go off of there, they can lead you into the next step and so on and so forth. And as far as Innovate Within, all of the people that have ran it, all of the people who have supported everything that we've done, we just feel that we couldn't be more happy about everything like that.
So what all was involved? Like, did you have to, was there like in class teaching? Were there videos? Like, tell me like what the process is.
So from the very beginning, it started out as something our teacher brought up to all of our people in our class and was like, okay, there's this 2-week competition and you all can come up with a business idea or some type of thing to put into the competition. And then they're going to choose like 10 people from each region, 10 people overall from each region. And we weren't even really expecting to get chosen. Like, we just did it. We put our best foot forward. It was just something we worked on like we work on all of our other assignments, just putting our best forward. And we got chosen. So that turned out really great. And then once we moved on, we've been working on it in class. We've worked with it with trade winds. We've gone other places, worked on it at home, had meetings. It's just been like a lot of steps and emails and documents and slideshows, but it was all worth it.
So, I mean, we in suspense. What's the business? You haven't told us what the business is. Did we talk about that? I don't think so, right? Yeah. So why are you killing us with the suspense? Let's go. Tell us what is the Can you share what the business is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us. What's the business?
Our business is Patchables, and what we do is we take old discarded textile waste, shirts, shorts, etc., and we make them into dog toys, and it reduces textile waste from our community and makes sure that that doesn't end up in local landfills while providing an ecologically friendly dog toy.
Awesome. So, like, what were the roles? So, first of all, how did we get to this idea? Like, okay, you're in this program, Innovate Within. Great program. I love it to death. But you're in this program and you got to come up with this business idea. Like, what was the conversation or how did you get to let's do this thing called Patchables?
So originally we started out with one idea because our teacher just kind of threw it out there to us. He said, come up with ideas, just write things down on a paper. So our original idea was to start with this thing called patchwork, and it's where you take socks and turn them into more socks. But the thing about that was, like, we just collecting socks, and people would probably have an issue with wearing other people's socks, and the making of those socks would be very difficult.
Okay.
So we decided to pivot and ended up with Patchables because we both have dogs and we love our dogs, and we both wanted to continue reducing the textile waste because we saw how big of a problem that was. And we both also agreed on giving back to charities.
So, like, this reducing textile waste, was this just something that, like, you guys, there's too much textile? Like, because, of course, in my old 52-year-old mind, I'm like, why would you be thinking about textile waste at 15 years old? Like, where did that come from? Did one of you point that out? Is this something that you guys always talked about? Like, how did you get to that issue?
I feel like this is something that both of us have been passionate about, and like witnessing it firsthand in not just documentaries but like social media outlets where people are genuinely concerned about our environment. I feel like that was reached out through us through there, and that was something that we saw as a problem and looked for opportunity.
Global warming overall is a big problem. It's just kind of hard to tackle global warming as a big thing because there's so many aspects to it. So just taking one thing that we can control ourselves and working with that helps a lot.
So, and this is just like really, I'm learning so much from you guys. Like, going back to our previous conversation, are young people just talking about this stuff all the time? Like, because I'm going to tell you, because you know what adults think, right? That you got your phone in your hand, you're watching TikTok or you're watching some YouTube video that's like meaningless or whatever. But one of the things that young people have taught me is that you guys are educating yourselves a lot, not all of the time, of course, but you use that tool to educate yourselves. So, like, how is that a conversation happening among young people? Like, are you talking about global warming? Maybe not all the time, but like just in your interactions with one another, you guys are talking about real serious issues that are going on in the world. Is that like a thing?
I feel like it is. It's very prominent within our generation where those types of problems that are like seen from a day-to-day basis are discussed between young people, not just because it's just a problem that we like to complain about, but something that we try to fix and look into. And I feel like throughout social media, it's just allowed young people to connect to one another in ways that maybe it wasn't possible back then.
And I think with this coming up as a problem now, global warming, we're really starting to see all the aspects of it. The newer generations are kind of being expected to like fix this problem. So just trying to figure those things out as we grow older and as new generations come, like people younger than us, and just figuring out how we can solve this problem is kind of falling in this generation's lap.
So how do you feel about that? The fact that I like the term you use or the way you worded that. You said it's falling in this generation's lap. Is that embraced? Is that a challenge that you guys love? Is this you like, man, come on, why y'all mess it up? We got to fix it. Like, what's up with that? Like, just what is your general attitude toward that?
It's a challenge that we've accepted with open arms, I feel. It's not just us who are reaching out about these opportunities off of global warming. It's other young entrepreneurs as well. It was seen in the Innovate Within competition that there was a lot of ecologically friendly ones. So this is something that people are trying to figure out, especially within our generation.
And I think if you see a big issue, you want to be able to fix it. If you see the world you live in being sick and things being wrong and people, or not people, animals even dying and just things like that, you don't want to see that happen. You just want a place you live to be taken care of. And if you can help make that a better place to live, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and again, if I take another step back, and just as it relates to like you guys feel like you're leaders now, how could adults help you to, and your generation, to attack these problems, these challenges? Because you guys have literally just told me, like, you and your peers, y'all ready, right? It's like, let's go, let's do it. How do we support you guys?
Just continue what you're doing. The fact that we're here says it all. Like, there are people who are willing to help us with our causes, as far as like the Innovate Within nonprofits that support these types of things. Everything that we've done that led us to where we are right now, those are the types of things that you guys are doing, and you're doing them well. These are things that are able to help us grow, not just as a business, but as a generation and as we continue to live on this world.
I think if everyone could be more open-minded to change and be more open-minded to maybe it's not exactly the way you want to do it, and maybe it's going to cost a little money, and maybe it's going to make things different, but if we can all do that and give it a chance, then it could get better.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, my mind's just blown, man. Now, and I literally work with young people every day of my life, and I've done so for the last 30 years. And I believe in young people so much, but you guys inspire me so much, because I'm going to tell you the truth. As a Generation Xer, when I was 15, I wasn't talking about none of this stuff, right? I was enjoying being 15. And so let's talk about that for a hot second. It's because, take the statement I just said, I was enjoying being 15. That statement assumes that you're not enjoying being 15. Are you enjoying being 15? Although you are, adamant, serious about tackling real world issues.
Just because you're tackling a problem doesn't mean you can't have fun.
Talk to me. Come on now.
Yeah, me and Kayla, we've had sleepovers that were prompted by work, and we've got that work done, and then had time to spare so we could enjoy ourselves. And we've done those things. So we are enriching ourselves and having fun while tackling this problem.
All right, let me put y'all on the spot. We talk about all the serious stuff. Most embarrassing moment.
Most embarrassing moment.
I've had too many to pick one.
I don't even know. What is your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment? I probably, when I went up to present my project, didn't realize that the screen didn't save. Like, none of my work had saved.
No.
So I went up there, pressed the button to click the next slide, and nothing happened. And I was like, okay, you can go now. And then it wasn't there. And I was like, I swear I did this, and it was
sure
not.
You did.
Exactly, that's how it was.
All right, favorite music group, musician, favorite artist.
I like old R&B, like 2000s R&B.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Anybody in particular, any group in particular?
I mean, I don't know if it's anybody in particular. Like, recently I've been listening to Fantasy by Mariah Carey because I heard it in a movie,
wow.
and I like that a lot. But I've just been, like, going back to, like, the 2000s and listening to all of those.
That's what's up. What about you?
Nostalgic pop, things that were put into our childhood, as well as the rock band Kiss. I don't know.
No way.
Yes, way. I went to their last concert, the world tour. It was
you
so
went
amazing.
To a Kiss concert?
Yes, and it was the most amazing experience of my life, I swear.
I'm sorry, this is just like blowing my mind. I know like everything comes back full circle, but y'all got like this old school vibe that y'all seem to be on. So, Cardi B or Nicki Minaj, who's the best?
My little sister's obsessed with Nicki Minaj, but I don't feel like me and her have bonded over Nicki Minaj, but I don't feel like I've listened to enough Cardi B to really judge that statement.
I like Cardi B, like, as a person. I feel like she's funny and just, like, an interesting person. Yeah. But I feel like Nicki Minaj I like better.
So, y'all know Silk Sonic, right?
Yes.
Who's the best, Pac or Bruno?
Oh.
I think my mom really likes the recent Bruno Mars album that he just came out with. I like the I don't know what that one is called. This one song on there, Skate. I like that one. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would choose between the two because I don't really listen to Silk Sonic or Pac. So I listen to Bruno Mars. So it wouldn't be fair.
Okay.
Same thing with me. I really don't listen to anyone other than Bruno Mars out of the people that were
Oh,
listed.
that's terrible.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. Favorite? Did I ask you your favorite food? What do you love to eat?
Ooh, my most nostalgic food is Dorito chip chicken because my mother used to make it at.
Dorito chip chicken.
Yes, it's like
You
a casserole
gotta
dish.
explain it.
It's a casserole dish where basically you take up crushed up Dorito chips and then you layer it with tomatoes, like diced tomatoes, and then have chicken that's like seasoned correctly with Dorito seasoning, and you put cheese over it, and it makes a really nice crust, and it's so good.
And it gives you a heart attack. What about you?
I like Mexican food, so like authentic Mexican places, the tacos, the nachos. It's probably
So
a lot
you
of those
said
ones.
authentic. So do you eat Taco Bell?
I've eaten Taco Bell. I don't consistently eat Taco Bell. I don't think
Favorite taco spot? Like, where do you get your tacos from?
I don't even know the name of the taco spots. Uber Eats. Whenever
It's
pops up.
Uber Eats.
Whenever pops
Uber
up.
Eats or DoorDash?
Uber Eats.
I personally haven't used either.
How's that possible?
What do you mean how is that possible?
Like
I go to the
everybody in the
store.
world, like these things came along to help us be as lazy as humanly possible, right? And you're choosing to work. I'm gonna get up, put on clothes, walk, ride, beg mom for a ride, whatever, and go all the way to a restaurant, buy the food, come all the way home. When you can just beep beep beep, and it comes to your door.
Well, off of that, like off of family standards, my family's very like you eat together or you don't eat at all.
Oh,
So
really?
that's why we go out to eat. And also my father is not very like DoorDash and Uber Eats, they're expensive. Why should I pay all this money to have it delivered to my door when I could go out there and get it myself
That is
for
true.
cheaper?
That is true, but I'm lazy.
I
Understandable.
I completely disagree.
Go ahead, tell us about it.
I love DoorDash.
So how long have you been like friends, or did this just happen because of the project?
We've known each other since 6th grade,
Mhm.
but we started working on this project obviously this year. But we've been friends since like 6th grade.
So what's like the coolest thing about her?
The coolest thing about her is that she has her skill set's very different from mine, and the way that she views the world is inspiring to say the least. Everything about her, she's a hard worker, she's an amazing friend, and she's someone I believe will genuinely be there no matter what.
And what's the coolest thing about her?
She's so smart. She's like one of the smartest people I know, and it's just like a very overachiever. Always gets something done. Always does things to the best way she can. And it's like if you ask her to do something, you know it will be done well, and you know it will be done with like anything she has in her. And I think that's just one of the best things about her.
All right, and this is always my last question. If you had to get each one of you, I want you to think about this. If you guys had to give a motivational speech, somebody said, "Hey, I want you to come talk to anybody, young or old," because I don't think in the line of work I'm in, most people say, "Do you have young people who can come talk to young people?" I'm like, I need young people to come talk to old folks, right? Because we need the perspective. Like the reason I love my job so much is like what I learned from y'all. You know, I know a lot of stuff, and I got a lot of degrees and all that, but I like to sit down. Like I'm the guy that just asks random questions to young people, just so I can see how you guys think and think about things and view the world. But if I hired you guys, each one of you separately, if I hired you to give a motivational speech, what would be like the topic of your speech and why?
No matter what you do in life, if you're passionate about what you're doing, if you have a problem that you're solving and you know that you can do it, if you're out there and you're achieving it, believe in yourself. Because if you don't, then there's not many people out there that will once your main support systems are gone. And eventually, if you are to be in a position where you need your own support, then have someone that you can lean on. Have someone that's there for you, because at the end of the day, they'll be there for you, and that's all you need.
I love that, because that's not, when you read social media, cut them off.
For real.
Like that's all
true.
you ever heard, and you're saying no. Embrace people. Find someone who will support you. What about you?
Think along the same lines. It's just like if no matter like what color you are, female, male, you can be a leader. You already are a leader. It's already in you. You were made that way, and just putting in that work, you can make yourself the best you can be. Like, you can literally be a millionaire if you want to put in that work, and it's always going to be better if you have other people doing it with you. Just being able to connect with other people, especially people who don't look like you, because then you get different views, different worldly views. You get to be more worldly. You get to make more friends, have a bigger community. That's always going to be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Isis and Kayla, for coming by and joining me on the Somebody Named Ken podcast, where I talk to anybody, because everybody, somebody to God and myself, and then shout out to my live studio audience. So if you guys heard some stuff in the background, that's because we actually have a live studio audience today. So excited. Thank you so much. Catch y'all next time.